The Assembly will please come to order. The Chief Clerk will call the roll.
Assemblywoman Anderson, Assemblywoman Backus, Assemblywoman Bilbray Axelrod, Assemblywoman Brown May, Assemblyman Carter, Assemblywoman Cohen, Assemblywoman Considine, Assemblyman DeLong, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblyman De Silva, Assemblywoman Duran, Assemblywoman Gallant, Assemblywoman Gonzalez, Assemblywoman Gorlow, Assemblyman Gray, Assemblyman Gurr, Assemblyman Hafen, Assemblywoman Hanson, Assemblywoman Hardy, Assemblyman Hibbets, Assemblywoman Howdigi, Assemblywoman Kasama, Assemblyman Koenig, Assemblywoman LaRue Hatch, Assemblywoman Marzola, Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblywoman Brittany Miller, Assemblyman C.H. Miller, Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno, Assemblywoman Mosca, Assemblywoman Newby, Assemblywoman Newby, Assemblyman Wynn, Assemblyman O'Neill, Assemblyman Orent-Licker, Assemblywoman Peters, Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong, Assemblywoman Taylor, Assemblywoman Thomas, Assemblywoman Torres, Assemblyman Watts, Assemblyman Urick, Speaker Yeager.
Here. Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May the record reflect we have 41 members present, 1 excused.
The record shall so reflect there are 41 members present, 1 excused. There is a quorum. The Assembly will please rise for the prayer by Pastor Ken Haskins, First Christian Church, Carson City.
Our Heavenly Father, greatness is seen most clearly in service. You taught, the greatest shall be your servant. Bless these public servants and their families and all the people of Nevada whom they represent. I pray in the name of the one who did not come to be served, but to serve, even Jesus. Amen.
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Appreciate it. Order business 2, reading and approval of the journal.
Carson City, Tuesday, February 21, 2023.
Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that we dispense with reading of the journal and allow the Speaker and Chief Clerk to make necessary additions and corrections.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Order business 8, motions, resolutions, and notices.
Assembly Joint Resolution Number 3, introduced by Assemblyman Peters, Senators Doniate and Scheibel, proposing to amend the Nevada Constitution to establish certain rights relating to the environment.
Assemblywoman Gorlow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to refer AJR 3 to your Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution Number 3, introduced by the Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections, directing the Joint Interim Standing Committee on Growth and Infrastructure to conduct a study of the laws administered by the Nevada Transportation Authority and Taxi Cab Authority.
Assemblywoman Gorlow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to refer ACR 3 to your Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections.
Without objection, so referred. Order of business 9, introduction, first reading, and reference of bills.
Assembly Bill 210, introduced by Assemblyman Duran et al., an act relating to public works requiring a contractor or subcontractor on a public work to provide a worker with written notice of certain information in the primary language of the worker, requiring the Labor Commissioner to prepare template forms of such notice, requiring a contractor or subcontractor on a public work to provide certain information to workers regarding leave, requiring a person found by the Labor Commissioner to have failed to pay prevailing wages to a worker to pay certain damages to the affected worker, and providing other matters properly in thereto.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 210 be referred to your fantastic Committee on Government Affairs.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 211, introduced by Assemblyman O'Neill, an act relating to public employees requiring under certain circumstances the Public Employees Retirement Board to request the actuary of the Public Employees Retirement System compute for certain members of the system the amount of money necessary to pay the full actuarial cost of converting retirement service credit to the Police and Firefighters Retirement Fund, authorizing under certain circumstances certain public employers and employee organizations to organize in supplemental collective bargaining to allow certain law enforcement dispatchers to participate in the fund and convert certain service credit to the fund, requiring certain law enforcement dispatchers to successfully complete a program for the training of law enforcement dispatchers, revising provisions governing the sharing of information concerning applicants for certain positions with public safety agencies, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that AB 211 be referred to your impressive Committee on Government Affairs.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 212, introduced by Assemblywoman Mosca, an act relating to higher education requiring the Board of Regents of the University of Nevada to establish certain policies and procedures that ensure certain students are able to access or obtain official and unofficial transcripts, prohibiting an institution within the Nevada system of higher education from charging students that owe a debt to the system or an institution within the system a higher fee to obtain a transcript, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Bilbray Axelrod.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 212 be referred to your most excellent Committee on Education.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 213, introduced by Assemblywoman Howdigy, an act relating to land use planning, requiring the governing body of a city or county to publish certain information on its internet website relating to certain applications relating to land use planning, revising provisions relating to the procedures for review of certain applications for land use planning, revising provisions relating to rural neighborhood preservation plans, revising provisions relating to the adoption of measures in certain counties relating to affordable housing, providing under certain circumstances that a tentative map shall be deemed to be unconditionally approved by certain state agencies, providing that certain deadlines relating to land use planning that apply to counties also apply to cities, requiring counties and cities to enact certain ordinances relating to projects for affordable housing on or before July 1, 2024, making certain legislative declarations, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that AB 213 be referred to your spectacular Committee on Government Affairs.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 214, introduced by Assemblywoman Anderson, Senator Daly, an act relating to regional transportation commissions, providing certain eligibility requirements for a person to submit a bid for a high-capacity transit system utilizing a turnkey procurement process, providing certain requirements for the use of an electronic surveillance system, revising certain requirements relating to the establishment of an advisory committee by a regional transportation commission, revising certain requirements for a commission to use a turnkey procurement process for a high-capacity transit system, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that AB 214 be referred to your astonishing Committee on Government Affairs.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 215, introduced by Assemblyman Gorlow et al., Senator Orenshaw, an act relating to the Nevada Silver-Haired Legislative Forum, revising the residency requirements to be eligible for appointment as a member of the forum, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 215 be referred to your Committee on Health and Human Services.
Without objection, so referred.
Assembly Bill 216, introduced by Assemblywoman Gorlow, an act relating to insurance, repealing, reenacting, reorganizing, and revising various provisions relating to travel insurance, authorizing the Commissioner of Insurance to adopt regulations relating to travel insurance, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Marzola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 216 be referred to your Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Assembly Bill 217, introduced by Assemblyman Watts et al., Senators Flores et al., an act relating to education, revising provisions relating to the liaison for post-secondary education for homeless pupils within the Nevada system of higher education, authorizing the Board of Regents of the University of Nevada to require institutions within the system to prioritize registration for the enrollment of certain pupils in certain courses, revising provisions governing the waiver of fees by the Board of Regents for certain homeless or unaccompanied pupils, and providing other matters properly in there too.
Assemblywoman Bilbray Axelrod.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 217 be referred to your most excellent Committee on Education.
Without objection, so referred. Assemblywoman Howdigy.
1 minute recess, Mr. Speaker.
1 minute recess. We'll next go to order of business 11, second reading and amendment of bills.
Assembly Bill 152, introduced by the Committee on Ways and Means. An act making an appropriation to restore the balance in the reserve for statutory contingency account and providing other matters properly in thereto. The people of the state of Nevada represented in Senate and Assembly do enact as follows. Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 2, end of Section 2, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 or the bill as a whole?
There are none.
The bill is ordered to general file.
Senate Bill 124, introduced by the Committee on Finance, an act relating to taxation, revising the manner by which a portion of the revenue generated by the tax upon the net proceeds of minerals and royalties of mining operations is distributed to the State Education Fund, clarifying the treatment of the proceeds of such a tax within a county school district fund, clarifying the status of the money contained in such a fund on a certain date, providing for the early expiration of certain requirements regarding the imposition and advance payment of a portion of the tax upon the net proceeds of minerals and royalties, and providing other matters properly in thereto. The people of the state of Nevada represented in Senate and Assembly do enact as follows. Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 6, end of Section 6, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 or the bill as a whole?
I have amendment number 2, proposed by the Assembly Committee on Ways and Means.
Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the amendment number 2 to Senate Bill 124.
Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno has moved for the adoption of Assembly Amendment 2 to Senate Bill 124. Remarks? Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The amendment only affects Section 2.3 of the bill, which revising the provisions relating to the transfer of money to the Education Stabilization Account in the State Education Fund.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. The amendment is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
The bill is ordered reprinted, re-engrossed, and to general file. Order of Business 15, remarks from the floor. Assemblywoman Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Have to get my helmet on. 37 years ago, and today is Nevada Contractors Association Day at the legislature. And it was 37 years ago this month, that two young 26-year-olds, a husband and wife, that would happen to be me that long ago, and my husband, had the privilege of getting our Nevada Contractors full mechanical plumbing license. And so I find it appropriate that I would like to take a moment and pay homage to the contractors in Nevada, to the process, to the industry that has provided myself, my husband, and our family with such a wonderful way to provide for our family and our community. The Nevada Contractors Association is the largest industry-specific association in the state of Nevada. Its membership includes construction project owners and developers, general contractors, subcontractors, equipment and material suppliers, and professional service firms. The Nevada Contractors Association fosters the core values of advocacy, education, integrity, and unity in each of its members, and reflects these values in all that it does, including its advocacy. As we strive to diversify Nevada's economy, no matter what industries we bring to this state, we will always need our contractors to lay the foundation, literally, for our growing economy, for new factories, new stores, and new homes. We rely on our contractors to maintain the infrastructure that allows for and welcomes economic progress in our state. We in the industry like to say we are proud to have dirty hands and clean money. Please join me in celebrating the Nevada Contractors Association, and please stop by the third floor, room 3100, for lunch this afternoon. Thank you.
Assemblyman Urich.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my privilege to introduce a couple of my friends from the Henderson Chamber of Commerce who have joined us on the floor today. For nearly 80 years, the Henderson Chamber of Commerce has served as one of the longest-running organizations in Nevada. Now serving more than 1,800 members, it provides businesses of all sizes and sectors with support, resources, marketing, and networking opportunities. Equally as significant, it provides advocacy to create a prosperous economic environment for current and startup businesses. To that end, the Henderson Chamber also operates the state's longest-running independently funded and operated business incubator program, Launchpad, located in Henderson's downtown redevelopment area. The Henderson Chamber is similarly proud of its ACA Compliant Association Health Plan for businesses, which launched in the fall of 2018, making it the first association health plan in the state to support small businesses, and it did so collaboratively with the Boulder City, Latin, Urban, and Asian Chambers of Commerce in Southern Nevada. So the two people that I would like to introduce you to from the Chamber are the Issue Committee Chair and Legislative Committee Member, also the Director of Government Relations for Dignity Health St. Rose Dominican, Ms. Katie Ryan. And I also have here from the Chamber the Director of Government Affairs, Ms. Emily Osterberg. Would you please help me make them feel welcome?
Assemblyman Gurr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also am fortunate enough to have two members of the Henderson Chamber of Commerce with me. Mr. Scott Morath, who's President and CEO of the Henderson Chamber, and Will Yepez, Government Affairs Supervisor for the Henderson Chamber. Would you give them a big welcome? Also, Mr. Speaker, if I could, I'd like to wish everybody happy Hump Day.
Assemblyman Hafen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to stick with my colleague's historical notion and just say that 6 years ago today, my son was born, and so I just want to give a shout out to my son. Happy birthday, buddy. I love you. Sorry I'm not there, but I will see you this weekend, and we will have a lot of fun. Thank you.
Do we have other order of business 15? Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I have a proclamation to present, and I have Ms. Christina Kleist with me here on behalf of the Cardiomyopathy Association to accept it. I will not read the entire proclamation, but I would like to say a few words about HCM. The fourth Wednesday in February is recognized by the Hypertrophic Cardiomyopathy Association as HCM Awareness Day. HCM, as I will refer to it now, is a chronic cardiovascular disease that involves thickening of the heart muscle and can potentially lead to debilitating symptoms with very serious complications, including heart failure, atrial fibrillation, stroke, and in rare cases, sudden cardiac death. The disease of HCM is the most common inheritable heart disease and can affect anyone regardless of age, ethnicity, or gender, with a reported prevalence that ranges from 1 in 200 to 1 in 500 persons in the general population. An estimated 700,000 people in the United States have HCM, yet about 85% of them may remain undiagnosed. The residents of the state of Nevada are respectfully requested to acknowledge the critical importance of raising the awareness of HCM disease on this special day. Thank you so much, everyone, and let's give Ms. Christina Kleist a round of applause.
Assemblywoman Brown May.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to take this opportunity today to introduce you all to Justice Forrest, who is my intern this session. Justice is an undergrad at the University of Nevada, Reno, where he studies political science and international affairs. He has been doing excellent work in the office supporting the constituents of Assembly District 42, and he one day would like to become a member of this body. Justice was born and raised in Reno, but we won't hold that against him. Please make him feel welcome.
Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is still Black History Month, and so here's your factoid of the day. The real McCoy is an idiom and metaphor used in much of English-speaking world to mean the real thing or the genuine article. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Elijah McCoy. This idiom was attached to him, and I'll tell you why. He was born in 1844. He's a Canadian-American engineer of African-American descent. His parents were born enslaved, and they fled to Canada. As a young child, his family returned to the United States, and he became an American citizen. As a young adult, Elijah McCoy moved to Michigan, and he could only find work as a fireman and an oiler at the Michigan Central Railroad. In his home machine shop, he invented or improved upon some technology and developed a dependable automatic lubricator for oiling steam engines of locomotives and ships. Lubricators were a huge invention for railroads because they enabled the trains to run faster and move more profitably with less necessity for lubrication and maintenance stops. One theory is how this got attached to him is because the engine folks would ask when they were buying parts, is this the real McCoy? So the next time you say the real McCoy, remember Elijah McCoy, an American industrial hero. Thank you.
Any other order of business 15? Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A few announcements for the floor. As you've all heard, there's a wonderful lunch waiting for you in room 3100, but there is also a reception tonight from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. on behalf of the Henderson Chamber of Commerce. Tomorrow is a tourism caucus from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. in room 3100. Nurses Day at the Assembly, and they will have a reception for legislators and invited guests at Fox Brewery from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And there is also a Nevada Taxpayers Association legislative dinner for legislators and invited guests at the Casino Fandango from 5:30 to 9 p.m. Seeing no other business, Mr. Speaker, I move that we stand adjourned until Thursday, February 23rd at the hour of 11:30 a.m.
Assemblywoman Howdigi has moved that the Assembly stand adjourned until Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 at the hour of 11:30 a.m. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.